Salvete! Hello, Latin learners. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. I have for you another intermediate reading. This is just a sentence, not really a passage. It's typically a fairly long sentence. It's a few lines long. And this is quite a challenge, this one. So I'm interested to see how you can do with this. It's concerning a famous Roman lady, Cornelia. Cornelia was mother to Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus, two revolutionary figures who tried to bring in new laws, new policies favouring the poor, and both were in the end killed. But she's very well respected, this Cornelia, a very noble matrona, and here she's talking about her sons. All right, so let's have a look at this sentence. It should appear on your screens, guys. Pause, have a crack at it, see if you can work it out, and then go through it with me. All right, okay, let's read together. Maximum matronis ornamentum esse, libros bene institutos, merito putabat sapientissima illa mulier. Cum campana matrona, apud illam hospita, ornamenta sua, quae erant illa aetate pretiosissima, ostentaret ei muliebrita. Cornelia traxit eam sermone, quosque a schola radire liberi, quos reversos hospita exhibens, ein haec inquit, mea ornamenta. All right, I really like this one. But as I say, it's a bit trickier than the ones we've done thus far, but nothing we can't handle, right? So, maximum matronis ornamentum esse. So as you start reading that and you see the esse, you know that's the infinitive, right? To be. So it's not a finite verb. It's not est or sunt. So you really immediately need to be expecting something like dicit. It's reported speech. Whenever somebody says something or thinks something, that's going to be reported speech, which in Latin requires the accusative and the infinitive, and that's why we get an esse. So as soon as you see that esse, you need to be thinking, right, okay, it's probably reported speech, and you keep reading. Bene institutos, merito putabat, that's a verb, sapientissima illa mulier. So this is talking about Cornelia, the mother of the Gracchi brothers. So the subject of this first part of the sentence is sapientissima illa mulier. That's your nominative. That woman, sapientissima, superlative from sapiens, very wise. That very wise woman, putabat, imperfect, thought, merito, adverb, quite correctly. It can mean deservingly, justly, correctly. She thought, and now because we're reporting her thoughts, this next part has to be accusative, infinitive, indirect speech. It just so happens that bit was presented before we got the subject, Cornelia, the wise woman, thought, quite normal in Latin, so you have to really read through carefully. So what did she thought? What did she think? She thought, this very wise woman thought quite justly, that liberos bene institutos, this is your accusative, children well instituted, we'd say educated, or maybe brought up, because she is reputed to have brought up her and educated her sons herself, Cornelia. She thought that children well educated, well brought up, esse were what? Maximum ornamentum, the greatest ornament, trophy, 2 or 4 dative plural matronis, for matrons. The matron, consider the very dignified lady of the Roman household, the female head of the house, the mother of the family, the matrona, who wore the stola, the female equivalent of the toga, right? So Cornelia was saying she thought, or it's reported that she thought, this very wise woman, quite justly, quite correctly, merito, that well-educated, well-brought-up children were indeed an ornament. I'm trying to think of another word for that. An ornament. We would say you're a real credit, wouldn't we, to matrons. Okay, something like that. A source of honour. Word it however you want. If you don't like the ornament, if that's a bit too literal, but I think we get the point. It was something to be proud of for matrons to have well brought up sons. So that's what she's saying. That's accusative infinitive. So if you didn't spot that, in future, just follow it through, keep reading, suspend in your head with the esse and your accusative, libros institutos, and as soon as you get putabat, dicit, dixit, something like that, that's conveying someone else's thoughts or words, hence reported speech. Then we get a bit more. The sentence continues. Cum, when. Campana matrona. So this is another matron. Campana, that may well mean she's from Campania, a part of Italy. Or it could be a name. It's capitalized there. I'm not sure. I've not heard that name before. I think it's a woman from Campania. Apud illam hospita. Hospita, a guest. So when this Campanian matron, who was a guest, apud illam means just at her house, basically. Apud plus accusative. It's a bit like, if you know French, chez moi, so it's at her house. So when this other matron was a guest at her house, ornamenta sua, quae erant illa taetati preciosissima, ostentaret ei muliebrita. Right, let's find our verb. So when this matron, being a guest at Cornelia's house, ostentaret, so the verb's the imperfect subjunctive because it follows the cum. When this lady was showing her sua ornamenta, her ornaments, so we're going to think her jewellery here, quae, relative pronoun, neuter plural, ornamenta quae, which were illa aetate, from aetas, that's ablative time phrase, at that time, at that period, preciosissima, most, you could say precious, probably valuable. So when this lady, this matron, was showing to Cornelia her jewellery, which was very, very valuable at the time, and she was showing a dative, because you show to somebody, so that's the pronoun going with Cornelia, showing it to Cornelia, showing it to her, muliebrita. Could you work that out? So it's an adverb, and it's connected to mulier, meaning woman, so in a womanly way, maybe as women do or used to do, something along those lines. So when this lady showed her jewellery, Cornelia, all right, so this is the subject. That was a subordinate clause, cum plus subjunctive. Now we get the main clause. Cornelia, nominative. Traxit from traho, to drag. Pull out, draw out. Eam, her. Sermone, ablative from sermo, speech, conversation. By means of, instrumentality, by means of conversation, she, what it means to say, she kept this lady talking. She kind of detained her. Kept her talking, kept her engaged in conversation, quousque, until. A schola, from school, redirent, returned liberi, her children. So when this matron had showed to Cornelia, her very precious, her very valuable jewellery, subordinate clause, main clause, Cornelia basically kept her talking until her liberi, her boys, her children, returned redirent from school. Quos, whom, so who's it talking about? Masculine plural. Quos, it's got to be the boys, the children. Whom, reversos, past participle, whom having returned, hospitae exhibens, so hospitae is your dative, to her guest, showing. So, when they had returned, showing them, her sons, to her guest, inquit, she said, Ein haik, ein, look, behold, haik, mea ornamenta. These are my ornaments, all right? These are my precious items. This is my jewelry, is what she's saying. Ein, behold, ein, haik, these things, neuter plural, haik mea ornamenta. All right, so she was so proud of her sons. They're her kind of ornament. They're her source of pride and credit, her badge of honor, her ornamentum. Okay, so there we go. As I said, it was fairly tricky, that, guys, but it's a very nice sentence. And a few different things to look out for there. So accusative infinitive, in this case I have to putare, to think. And just noting your subordinate clauses have to come, when, and then noting where your main clause starts. Alright, so any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll be sure to answer as best as I can. And yeah, let me know how you're doing. What's brought you to this channel? How, why, where are you learning Latin? I'd love to know. Alright, so take care, guys. I'll be back with another one if this is useful, and I will see you soon. Well, late day.